Today we're going to be doing the video portion of the review on the Podmods from Kahntrol Solutions. And that's KAHNTROL.com. These guys came up with a pretty neat concept. If anybody's familiar with your Atlas bipod, one of the greatest things about these is interchangeable feet and accessories. So if I wanted to change the feet out on this Atlas, there's a little detent here that you pop in, pull the foot off that you want to swap out. I can swap something else on, like one of these ski or cleat feet. They come with little spikes. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Tony Khan over at Kahntrol Solutions, he actually saw our review where we were talking about pros and cons of Atlas bipods versus Harris. And he wanted us to take a look at something he came up with, which I think is a great idea. He's made an adapter for the Harris system that allows you to use all of the Atlas feet, the leg extensions, and all the accessories that B&T Industries makes for the Atlas. I kind of looked and eyeballed it a little bit, and the Harris is maybe just within a half an inch or so longer, or taller rather, when it's hooked up. With this, you lose just a little bit of adjustment at the bottom range of this. What he said actually was that you would lose the last notch. I've not really found that to be the case. It still, at least for me, snugs up all the way collapsed the way the Harris normally does. But that's something he said that happens sometimes, so I'm thinking it has something to do with just how flush the adapter sits and whether or not it's able to fully collapse up onto the leg. Basically, I mean, there's zero difference. Like, I cut the foot off of the Atlas, which was the smarter thing to do. I was trying to save it initially, and it was just a royal pain in the neck to knock out this little roll pin here, which holds the regular Harris foot on out until I cut the rubber Harris foot off. Then it was a piece of cake to knock that pin out, install the adapter, and then you can put any of the Atlas feet on your Harris bipod. They're really great. I'm really sort of surprised. I used to be almost entirely an Atlas bipod person. This is actually the last Harris that's in the house. I was in the process of selling them off and replacing everything with Atlas bipods. I tend to like the way they preload a little bit better, and I like some of the features that they have that the Harris doesn't. I'm not knocking the Harris, it's just not my thing. And since I've been using these Podmods from Kahntrol Solutions, I'm having to rethink that. So one of the craziest things I found, and I think it's because of the really sticky rubber compound on the Atlas feet, you don't get a lot of feedback from a Harris when you're loading it, and with an Atlas, there's a little bit of play in the legs, and you can actually feel the whole gun sort of rock forward against it and rock back when it's not preloaded. Since I've had these Podmod adapters on the Harris, I don't know if it's going to show up in the video, but you can actually get the legs in the Harris to flex a little bit. The Atlas feet are sticky enough that it provides enough grip, and when you actually give it a little bit of a load, now you can actually feel just a little bit of movement and a little bit of preload, and you can feel that last little bit of slack come out of the rifle as you're loading it up when you're getting ready to shoot. And that's something I've never felt or been able to at least tell when I was doing that with a Harris before. They were, like I said, the only trick to installing these is getting rid of the Harris feet. Just cut them off, it's a lot easier. If you're dying to maintain them or keep them in case you want to put them back on for whatever reason, I don't know, I guess you could, but it's a lot easier if you just cut the old Harris feet off and then install the Podmods. some people are going to ask right away, what does this cost? Podmods they're under 30 bucks. I think they're 29.95, and a set of regular Atlas feet run you about 20. So for $50, you can swap your Harris over to what you see here with the Podmods and a set of Atlas feet. And if you ever decide you want to change it, or maybe you've decided that I don't know, the ground's really soft or moist or whatever, and you want to swap the feet out, it's as simple now with the Harris as it was with the Atlas. You just push the little detent on the foot in, pull the foot off, take the foot that you want to install, or even the leg extensions, and snap them into place. And that's it. I mean, it's a piece of cake. And he said it's kind of it's kind of a way to have the best of both worlds, and at least from what I've seen with it, I would tend to agree. And Atlas has got, I think, 4 different sets of feet. They have the rubber regular ones that come standard. They have these, which are the skis. There's a cleat that has like some teeth on the bottom, and then there's actually spikes for really digging into the ground if you're shooting on soft terrain. So I can't really say enough good things about the Podmods. I think these things are great. They're extremely affordable. I think they're very fairly priced, and it gives you some flexibility, and it gives you some options for setting up your Harris that you didn't used to have. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but seriously, I was getting ready to sell this. This was actually on my wife's rifle. It was the last one in the house, and I pulled it off to do an eval on these and review them and let you guys know what the deal is. And now I think I'm actually going to hold on to it, because it actually really does put a little bit of breath of fresh air, or a little bit of new life into the Harris, and you keep all the Harris features that you're used to having. If you want to get the notched leg, or I believe these also work on the unnotched leg if you have that version. So you can, some people are particular about just being able to slap the front of the 2 legs and, deploy them if you're in a competition, or, whatever it is that you're doing with your rifle. You can get the legs extended and deployed a little bit quicker on a Harris, and the guys over at Atlas have never said that wasn't the case. But that's about all I can say about these for right now. They were really nice. They sent us over one of their muzzle brakes too. We're going to be getting the review on that up pretty soon. But Kahntrol Solutions, Podmods, 30 bucks, 20 bucks for some rubber Atlas feet, and for 50 bucks you've kind of converted your whole Harris system over into something that you can swap out. The old Phoenix pod claws were at least that expensive. I think they were about 100 bucks, actually, almost twice as expensive as this option. And I've been watching, some people have been asking about them lately, and they're not getting much responses, in the way of responses anyway. So I'm not sure if those guys are even still producing those. So if you're a Harris person and you're looking for ways to add some features and some options to your Harris, swappable feet, leg extensions, stuff like that, definitely check out Kahntrol Solutions and the Podmods.